And welcome to part 4 of Invasion of the Philippines, Allied Side, Let's Play Battlefield 1942. It's pretty remarkable to me, pretty remarkable how consistent the enemy's lead has been. Almost exactly 20 tickets the entire time. So the enemy have not been able to pull away from us despite having their uncapturable base of the destroyer, which gives them more options. I think part of that may be due to the fact that they weren't able to maintain a hold on the western side. We kept pushing them back off of it, and their destroyer, I guess they probably moved it somewhere around the other way. They may have been making some unsuccessful efforts to invade this island and the island directly north of it as well. Well, they certainly managed to land a lot of infantry on this island. I can't quite get an angle on that guy, so I'm just going to use the X-Pack. So he'll see that for the second before he dies. And still it goes neutral, so there's yet another person over here. Man, they're really taking their time there, sweeping through those buildings, but it's always nice to have a couple of friendlies around with machine guns to take care of that for you.
Position secured.
And as I mentioned on the other house, those houses around the airfield flag, again, you have to be just on the inside to be inside the flag capture radius. So it's really tough. You gotta pretty much stay completely still, because if you walk too far, you'll wander outside the radius and you can't get your 10 consecutive seconds. Right now I'll actually get an opportunity to use the def gun over here, because it was smoking. It's another good reason to have the engineer kit. Alright, this is a nice little battle between a couple patrol boats. Let's see if I can help my guy out. Oh, that was a really nice hit there. That would have taken out both the driver and the gunner at the same time. And judging by the little splashing animation, the way I killed him was not to actually kill them with the blast, but to sink the ship. And when the ship goes down to 0 hit points, they automatically die if they're still within the ship in one of the driving positions. Okay, now there's two patrol boat icons over here. One of them's facing the wrong direction, so that could be hostiles who are invading using the technique I mentioned earlier. And a lot of these map votes. You know, I will not be surprised at all if through the course of this entire LP we never see even one map vote that comes close to passing. I mean, actually getting a majority to vote for your map vote in your favor is the equivalent of having the entire U.S. Senate vote 100 to zip in favor of something. In fact, the one thing that the map vote is useful for, well, actually two things. One of them would be griefing, just annoying people by continually making map votes. In fact, I've seen occasions where a griefer will continually do the map vote and you cannot see who's initiating the vote, so you don't know who it is. So a griefer can continually set up these map votes over and over again, and then he can blame someone else and then initiate a kick vote if kick votes are allowed, and have people try to get somebody kicked out by blaming them for all the map votes. Torpedo should hit. Kick votes, obviously, they're a breeding ground for griefers as well, but unlike map votes, kick votes are rarely allowed, and a rare torpedo hit on a landing craft there, although it didn't seem to do much. The one other thing that map votes are useful for is if you look at your options for the map vote, very often the list of maps will be identical to the map rotation of your server. So if you want to see the entire map rotation and not just what the next map is, making a lot of use of this cannon. You can just look at the map vote choices and see what the order is. When your patrol boat's moving and you're trying to get your target, unless you're going directly toward your target, it can be quite difficult to aim it properly, because you have to adjust for both leading the target if your target's moving, as well as adjust for the movement of your boat. It's kind of like trying to get a moving shot kill when you're driving parallel to someone in a tank, but just a lot harder. There you can see the empty vehicle icon on my patrol boat is relatively convincing there. It looks like it could be just resting at the docks after having been spawned in. Now I'm really going to have to be careful about working around from the periphery, because as soon as they see me here, they're just going to be swarming on me. Every single one of these infantry is going to be spawning at this flag, because they're all going to be eager to spawn somewhere other than the eastern flag. Yeah, I think they've spotted me. Let's see if that works. It's always nice when it does, and they're also going to have a lot of plane-starved plane campers on their team who are going to want to spawn in here and take a plane out. Yeah, there's really no possible way for me to attack this flag unless I get a bunch of help. And I actually got sniped there. So that's a rare occasion. Although I guess if you're an engineer using your rifle, you have to remain still to get a good shot off, especially if you're doing multiple shots. So I guess this would be one of the few maps where you can really be sniped. That is, if you don't just use an engineer on all the other maps too. But since this map is kind of spread out and you got all these islands everywhere, the sniper is not that unpopular a class for people to choose, even though it's not one that you'd probably think would be tactically useful. Now that plane is not going to be undefended for very long. I'm just imagining in 2 seconds I'm going to have half their team bearing down on it. Alright, let's see if we can get a landmine. And once again, that landmine just about killed me. I got just enough distance, and yeah, here comes the team. All those plane campers. I guess I've really got little choice other than to keep spawning here at the Point Boyington flag and charging southward. But as you can see from the tickets, yeah, I was reading the chat again. They've actually expanded their lead quite a bit. From 20 before, now it's up to 50. I would presume that would be because they took the airfield flag, and a lot of people are making failed attempts at the from this island charging southward. That's usually where the meat grinder kicks in. So I think it's fair to say that we really have zero chance of winning this now. Let's see if I can repair that patrol boat and take it out for a spin. And that splash animation means the patrol boat's gone. So this has definitely been an ill-fated round on this Let's Play. Things do not always work out as they're intended to. Now here's another way you can approach the flag. Since the bridge is almost always going to be having a lot of traffic from both sides, you can try to sneak around just by wading through here. And it's surprising how often that works. There's a friendly sniper with me. I'd feel a lot more comfortable if you were a medic or an assault. Man, he's dead. Yeah, I guess this is the only option. This stalemate thing is basically the part of this map that I like the least, but it's very commonly the main feature of it. Look at all these jeeps. And a nice bombing run there from the Japanese plane. I don't know, I was the intended target of that. Probably the other guy who was over there. Stay tuned for part 5.